Hello, everybody. It's Escaped Audios, and we are celebrating my 2 year anniversary with an AMA. First of all, thank you, everybody, for being here and for sending in all of your questions. And thank you so much to everybody who's new and everybody who's been around since the very beginning. I'm super grateful for all of you, and it is crazy seeing how far it's come. Hopefully, it'll keep going even further. So I'm going to get to answering my questions. I got a lot more questions this year than last year, so I'm not going to be able to answer them all. If multiple people asked a similar question, I've just kind of consolidated some of the questions together. And if anybody asked a question that I already answered in last year's AMA, I left those out too. So if you asked a question and it didn't get answered, it was probably already answered in last year's AMA. So go check that out. And now, without any further ado, I'm going to get to answering. Question number one. Sushi asks, are you planning to make another villain series? I don't have any solid plans for it. I've been throwing some ideas around for an Against the World sequel. I've actually written a few pages of dialogue for like certain scenes, but I don't really have like a complete plot set up. So I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen, but if it does happen, it's kind of like on the back burner for now. And Sushi also asks if you had to choose who was your favorite character from a series you've made. I'm gonna say Jean from the New Jersey Rats is my favorite character right now. Next question. God's favorite mistake asks if you were ever to cosplay one of your characters, who would it be and why? I actually have been throwing around the idea of making a cosplay for Escaped, just because I like the whole like ski mask supervillain thing. So I'm probably, if it was to be any character, it would be Escaped. Let's see. Little Witch asks, were there any ASMRs that inspired you at all? Um, Early on, like before I made ASMR, I don't make ASMR. I make audio roleplay. I should I need to like stop saying that I make ASMR because I don't I don't really make anything that makes like tingly sounds. But yeah, before I was making audios, the series that inspired me to get started was The Castle of Blue Roses by Stephanie Swan Quills. That was the first audio roleplay series I heard that was like multi-part cinematic, had like a whole bunch of characters and a whole bunch of sound effects, and that really like got me excited because I listened to audio roleplays slash ASMR roleplays before then, but I didn't really know that there was like a world where there was like actual like complex ongoing stories. So if there was like any one audio that I would like point out as like my inspiration early on, it would be that one. As for right now though, there are other VAs that I admire that I kind of like really like respect what they do, but I wouldn't really call them inspirations. Because I like to keep my own style and I'll listen to other people and I don't know, instead of like really being like inspired by them, I'll kind of do the opposite where I'll try and do something a little different just because I'm so invested in being original. But there are people who inspire me with their work ethic and the amount of effort they put in. So I would say, you know, there are series like that. Like the Gator Boys series, for example, is just like one series that is so like well crafted from like the script all the way to like the post production sound effects. It's so good, and like listening to that kind of series makes me like inspired to work harder, if that's what you mean. Rizzy asks, what is your favorite line out of all of your characters? And I would say that would be Alfonso's Wrath of God speech in the finale episode of Matador Gothic. Ellie asks, I've listened to most of your audios, but I always wondered why in most of your series there's usually a very similar transition to the first kiss scene. Why do you think you've done that? Oh my god. Okay, this is such a good question. I love this. I feel so exposed because I totally do have a formula. Two formulas actually. For one, I always like to match the first kiss scene to like the build up of a song. And I usually use a song with a couple of exceptions, except for like Against the World and the Rival Slasher Villain series. There's like no song. And if you listen to like the complete versions, the song isn't always there. But if you listen to like the playlist versions, there's always a song that matches the first kiss. So you should go and check them out if you haven't heard the playlist versions. But my other formula is that I love to make people have their first kiss after like a super emotionally stressful part of the story. I do this so much. There's like, there, I do this in like 60% of my audios. Actually, maybe more. Like maybe like 70% of my audios. I do this, and I don't know. It's just because I love the whole emotional roller coaster of somebody like hitting a low point or coming out of this super stressful situation and just having all the barriers just fall down where they're like, fuck it, I have nothing more to lose. I just went through the worst moment of my life and I fuck it. I want you. I want you. I don't care what you think. And just having all the like sexual tension or romantic tension, I guess. These aren't sexy audios. These aren't spicy audios, but you know what I mean? Like the all the romantic tension just come crashing down and having them have their first kiss is so fun for me. The fact that somebody is caught on to my formula makes me want to try something new though. But yeah, I love doing that. I will definitely be doing that again, completely shamelessly, just because I love that formula so much. Haley asks, are there any series or standalone videos of yours that you think deserve more attention? Um, my Sneaky Goblin videos, my Sneaky Goblin holiday specials, those get like no views. Those get so few views. Nobody wants to give my little goblin any love. Like maybe it's because he's like, less serious, or maybe it's because there's like no like romantic plot in those videos, but I love my little Sneaky Goblin. He does deserve more attention. And Haley also asks, out of all your series so far, do you have a favorite? If so, which one? Oh my god. I don't know what my favorite is. Matador Gothic, maybe. It's a really close race between Matador Gothic and the New Jersey Rats. I'm not sure. Let's see. Anonymous asks, "What's your favorite voice to act?" Bada boom. King has arrived asks, "What's your favorite plot twist?" Um, I can't spoil anything, but the second reveal about Ground Zero in Cronus 7 is my favorite plot twist. Kenzie asks, "My question is about Neon Barbarian slash Neon Wings. What made you center the story around grief? It's not talked about enough in media, even though it's a very common part of living, so I think it's amazing that you created a story centered around the grieving process and the feelings that go with it." Thank you for appreciating that, Kenzie. But yeah, regarding that story, I love angst. So there's that. I just love angst. But if I am gonna do angst, I'm gonna commit to it because like I can't. I like I'm just tired of the trope in just like general media, general popular media, and also in audios of just like killing off a character for like a big dramatic moment, and then either you just move on and don't really do anything about it, or like the character comes back to life an episode or two later, which I'm like, why does everyone do that? It's like you've taken the drama away from death. But yeah, so I did want to make a story that like legitimately explored the grieving process, specifically with the Neon Barbarian, because like the most common request I get from people regarding the Neon Barbarian is like, can you please make an alternate ending where he lives? Can you make a sequel where he comes back to life or somehow survives, or this, that, and the other? And I'm like, well, the Neon Barbarian was a tragedy. It was a beautiful tragedy, a bittersweet tragedy where he finds purpose in his last moments and he finds love in his last moments and then dies. And after that ending, there's something that you're left behind with, and that's like the guilt of knowing that he died for your sake, and the grief of knowing he's dead, and mourning the future you could have had. And I didn't want to just leave it there. I wanted to explore it because like Neon Wings is actually my fifth concept for a Neon Barbarian sequel, and I felt that all of my other ideas didn't do any justice to the emotional depth of the original. So I wanted to make something that really focused on the grief and the pain and how you recover from that and how you fall in love again and how you know hold on to your happy memories of the past, but also let go and move on and live life. So I thought that's a very interesting and very underexplored theme, especially in the world of audio roleplay. Because in the world of audio roleplay, the dominant sort of theme and plot structure is comfort. You know, it's all about comfort. It's all about reassuring you, telling you good things, making you feel nice, you know, relaxing you, putting you to sleep. And I I feel so limited by that. You know, I feel so limited by the expectations that everything is supposed to be nice and fluffy and like, you know, not really that, you know, emotionally strong or emotionally deep. And I was just like, no, I want to commit to this theme, and I want to, you know, I want to continue thinking about, you know, the grief and the tragedy. So there's your answer. Anonymous asks, when was the first vampire hunter organization founded? Torre Briante was founded in 1820, but there were vampire slayers before then. They were just disorganized. Anna asks, what happened to your Patreon? Is it ever coming back? If not, are there any other ways we can support you as a creator? Um, yeah, I froze my Patreon, but like I left the door open for me to bring it back just because it was getting stressful, because I felt like I wasn't providing enough because one, I wasn't making any exclusives because I just didn't have time, and all of my audios are so complex that like the idea of like making my main series and making exclusives that like only 1% of my audience will ever hear on top of that, it just seemed impossible to balance with my life. And I don't do this for money in the first place, so it, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal for me to like freeze it. I don't know if I'll ever bring it back. I have like some ideas for what I might do for Patreon in the future, but if I do, I'm gonna make sure that I'm providing, you know, actual value for it. As far as other ways to support me, word of mouth, talk about me. I don't really play into the algorithm, and I don't really play into like trending topics, and I'm very different from, you know, most other like audio roleplay guys. So I really depend on people talking about me. So, you know, if you are involved in any like audio roleplay fandom spaces, I'm like Tumblr, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, like whatever, wherever there's like, you know, fandom spaces for audio roleplay, talk about me, bring me up, talk about my stories, make little memes and fan fictions and fan art and stuff. I love all of that, by the way. And you know, introduce me to people that you think might like me, and even I think even people who like don't really like the idea of like, you know, ASMR or like audio roleplay would like my channel just because like I'm so, you know, I'm not quite the same as others. So like some people who might have written off, you know, audio RP, who have only ever seen like boyfriend ASMR, might like what I have to offer. So you know, talk about me. So yeah, that's the way to support me. Let's see. Next question. Maddie asks, what is it like working with some of the other famous ASMR boys and girls? Is it fun or not fun? I just wanted to know as a fan of the community. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love working with them. I love, you know, voice acting with them, sending them instructions, seeing what they have to make. It always makes my day when I get a, you know, a line of dialogue sent in by them. So yeah, everybody I've worked with has been an absolute joy. I appreciate all of them, and yeah, it's a good time. So let's see. Next question. Anonymous asks, do you think we will ever have a Matador Gothic audio showing how Alfonso and the listener got engaged? No, I'm not gonna do that just because as far as like the Matador Gothic like spin-off slash sequels go, I just want to keep the, you know, story moving forward with like time skips between them. So there's not gonna be an engagement episode for them, but there will be a wedding. Let's see. Next question. Sebastian asks, I always wondered if you ever considered making a Victorian setting story. Um, I haven't, but that's, you know, that doesn't mean it's out of the question. I'm a huge fan of steampunk, so if that ever happens to inspire me as a setting, I might do like an alternate history, like Victorian steampunk thing. Sebastian also asks, do you have any social media accounts, like Twitter maybe? Yes, I do. I have a Twitter where I'm actually really active. My Twitter handle is just Escaped Audios. And I have a Tumblr where I'm somewhat active, but not quite as active as Twitter. And that is also just Escaped Audios. So you can find me on either of those platforms. Titus asks, out of all the characters you created, which one was the hardest to write? Definitely Crow, just because he speaks in such a different way from everybody else in that story that I had to consciously keep going back and rewriting his lines to keep him in character. Let's see. Anonymous asks if you had to choose one food to eat for the rest of your life, what would you choose? It would be rotisserie chicken. Jax asks favorite angst scene you've ever written. The graveyard scene in Matador Gothic. Let's see. Cleo asks, "Hi, Escaped. So when I first heard John singing Riptide in the second episode of the New Jersey Rats, I absolutely loved it. I was wondering if it would be possible for you to make a full cover. Um, I am planning on doing that, but it won't be Jean singing it. It's gonna be Bada Boom. Let's see. Mackenzie Boyd 206 asks, so in Neon Barbarian, Acid Rain takes the baby that shares the DNA with Crow. Is Raven ever gonna see the baby in Acid Rain again? So that was in one of the original concepts for Neon Wings, but I took it out just because it would overcomplicate the story, and also because Acid Rain is like a fugitive, and she also is like she lives in England. If you noticed, adult Captain Vengeance has a British accent, so I moved her to England while she's hiding out. So they're so physically far apart that I don't think that's really gonna happen. Anonymous asks, "Do you have any tips on how to make a good hook for a script?" I do, and that's a really complicated question that I'm not going to talk too much about in my AMA. But I am working on a writer's guide. I just finished the draft, and I'm about to publish it. I'll be posting information about my writing guide on my Twitter, on my community tab when it comes out. But it's called Your Script Sucks, and there actually is a chapter in there where I talk about plot hooks. Ash asks, who is the main antagonist of Neon Wings, and what is their main motive? Ha 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 ha! Wouldn't you like to know? Wouldn't you like to know, Ash? You're gonna have to watch the show. I'm not spoiling that here. Caroline asks, which project has been the most fun to make so far? That is definitely the New Jersey Rats. I had so much fun with that. I had a blast switching between Jean's voice and Bada Boom's voice. I had a great time with Atonal, who was the voice actor for Bada Bing. About half of their arguments were scripted, and the rest were unscripted. And it was just me and Atonal going back and forth on voice call, doing improvised arguments with each other. So I had so much fun with that. So I'm going to say New Jersey Rats was the most fun project. Fishy asks, what is Ivan's favorite bird? His favorite bird is the raven. Let's see. And how truly awful is Fletcher at dancing on a scale from 1 to 10? I'm going to say 4 out of 10 for his dancing skills. And let's see. What would have happened if Jean had taken up Ricky on his offer to make him a made man? How would things have been different? He would have basically been stuck in the mafia. He would have ended up falling in love with the intern anyway, but things wouldn't have gone quite as well because eventually he would be under Arrigo's thumb, and that would be terrible. Let's see. And number 4 is, do you think that Slash would ever consider becoming undead like Bash? And please tell me that as soon as Chase and Ellie fuck, Slash and Bash will kill them. I'm still mad at Ellie for using Slash's face. Okay, number 1, Slash is not gonna become undead. I don't like following that whole like Twilight formula of being like, oh, you fell in love with a vampire and now you have to become a vampire. So like, I'm not gonna apply that same logic to ghouls. So Slash is gonna stay human. If anything, it'd be Bash who turns into a human. And will they kill Chase and Ellie? No, they won't. They won't. I love Chase and Ellie. They are. I would never kill them. And like Slash and Bash are kind of comfortable with the like frenemies relationship they have with Chase and Ellie, so they get to live even after they have sex. They get to live. Let's see. Indy asks, "Who is your favorite character from the New Jersey Rats?" Bada boom, bada boom. Of course, he's the real hero. Let's see. Re asks, "Escaped. Nice audios, full of plots. How long do you usually spend making these?" I have no idea. Arlie asks, "I don't know if you make any of these, but will there be any M for A series from around a more fantasy or medieval theme?" Um, God, I started working on the script for a medieval series like way, way back in like September or October of 2021, like right after I finished Against the World, and I hated it. I hated it so much. It was such a chore to write. And I'm not saying that I don't like the medieval fantasy setting. It's just that like my medieval fantasy story was like I was so I was not having fun, so I killed that script. I might revisit that setting later. But my original medieval fantasy story, that's that's in the can. Let's see. Next question. Anonymous asks, is there anything you would change about any of your series? If so, what would you change? Oh my god, I would change so much about Against the World. I would change so much about Against the World. I re-listened to it last month and I was just like I was like cringing. There's so much stuff I did in there that like I would never do today. The First of all, Escaped is a fucking slut. He's a whore. He kisses the listener in like the first episode for no fucking reason. There's no like there was no relationship established between them, and like the reason I did that was not because I wanted to, but because that was my first video ever. And I was like, okay, well, if I don't have the characters kissing in the first episode, then like I'm gonna lose out on all the potential new subscribers I could get that are here for like romance stories or like boyfriend roleplay stuff. So I felt like I had to deliver on that right away when I really would have preferred to have made a like a more slow burn type of romance. I also indulged in a bunch of like stupid fan fiction tropes that I would never do today. Like I did this shared bed trope. I made him like so tsundere in episode 1. Like he is so tsundere, like formulaically tsundere. Like I don't know, I would have made him so much harsher. Like he would have just been straight up villainous and harsh and, just outright mean instead of being like tsundere. So yeah, so like episodes 1 and 2 of Against the World I'm not really happy with. Like by episode 3 I had started to actually fall into my own writing style and started to like actually do things well slash my way. But yeah, episode 1 and 2 I'd change. I would also change the Neon Barbarian a bit. I would make it longer, and I would have made them spend a lot more time with Acid Rain. Because just her arc and like her gang had like a pretty big impact on like how Crow sees the world, but they didn't really get as that much screen time to like justify like how much impact they had on him. So I really would have liked to have like put that in there and added a little bit more backstory about the Bright Sands and what it was like before San Sequestro was built. But yeah, so that's what I would change. Jay asks, what's one YouTuber you would like to collab with in the future? I want to collab with Obsidian Lantern. I want to collab with Obsidian Lantern yesterday. I want it. Oh God, oh no, I'm sounding desperate. I'm sounding too desperate right now. I need to cool it down. Oh my God, I want Obsidian Lantern to just, and here's the thing is like when I want to collab with somebody, I usually want them on my series where I'm like, I want you to perform this role or that role. But like with Obsidian Lantern, it's like the reverse where I'm like, I want to be in one of your series because they are so well produced that I want to be in that. I want to get in there. I mean, I would love to have Obsidian on my channel, of course, but I want to collab with Obsidian Lantern on one of his projects so bad. So, oh my God, I sound so fucking desperate right now. I sound like a fucking fanboy. I need to contain myself. Let's see. Next question. Haven asks, will there be any more episodes in Matador Gothic? Yes, the spin-offs, like time skip things are going to continue. The Gnome Mafia asks, how many crimes have your characters committed around? I can't count that high. But I think Escaped has the record for most types of crimes committed. And Jean has the record for just more numbers of crimes committed. Zon asks, where do you get your inspiration? I don't know. My ideas just come to me. There are definitely books and movies and stuff that inspire me a lot. Like I think Berserk, the manga, inspired me a lot. And the movie Baby Driver also inspired me a lot, and Mad Max Fury Road. Like, those are my biggest like media inspirations. But as far as storytelling goes, I just have ideas all the time, and I'm always like bouncing ideas off of my friends and stuff like that. So, some of those ideas end up becoming series. So I don't know. I just my brain is constantly coming up with scenarios ever since I was a kid. So I don't really know. I don't know if I can say where they come from. Met asks if a fan sends a new story idea to you, will you maybe use it to make a new series? No. I have too many ideas already. Like I already come up with more than I could possibly produce. So like any like ideas or like scripts, I'm just gonna respectfully decline. And maybe find a VA who does script fills or something like that. But as far as me, I'm very attached to my own ideas, so I don't really accept outside ideas. Anonymous asks if you could have any sword appear in your inventory right now, what would it be? It would be Tithona, El Cid's sword, which I believe is in a museum now. It's a historical sword, and I want it. Anonymous asks, are we getting part 4 of Blue Infinity? Yes, it is in production. Desmond ASMR is in the studio today. Let's see. Captain Z Cookie Monster and Lemon Doodle both asks, I just gotta know, what's Alfonso's favorite Fall Out Boy song? And it is This Ain't a Scene. This ain't a scene. This ain't a scene. It's an arms race. I am not editing that out. Haley asks, out of all of your characters, who do you think is the best dressed? And that would be Jean. Cassidy asks, what does Ivan look like in Neon Wings? I would love to know because ever since you posted that audio, I've been dying to make some fan art. I think I posted some of the fan art concepts on my community tab on YouTube. So they are based off of his canon design. And if they're not on my community tab on YouTube, they're on my media tab on Twitter. So go check those out. Div asks, what are the favorite foods of your characters? I haven't put too much thought into that except for that Bada Boom's favorite food is gabagool. Maria asks two questions. Number one, what is your favorite part of making a video? My favorite part of making a video is when my collaborators send their lines into me and I get to get really excited and like listen to what they made. Like that's my favorite part always. And all of my videos are collaborative, so I get to have this experience with everything I make. And question number two, what was your inspiration for the New Jersey Rats? I was listening to a bunch of like uh mafia ASMR slash audio role plays, and I was like, why is every character either the boss or the boss's son? Like every single time it was always the boss or his son, and I was like, can we please do something else? Can we please have a different character? Like, what about one of the goons? What about the bookie? Like, what about like a lower ranking mafia guy? Like, what about somebody who's like technically not part of the mafia, but still works for them? Like, what's their life like? Like, what kind of stories would they tell? What kind of love stories would they experience? And I was like, fine, I'll do it myself. Like what am I doing sitting here complaining? Like I'm literally a VA. I could do this myself. So I did, and I made the New Jersey Rats, and I had a great time. Let's see, next question. Anonymous asks, are you interested in making more comedy centric and or shitposty type audios? I love those so much. Let's see. I actually do have one in mind. I'm gonna do another like parody slash impressions audio. That's going to be kind of like the time that I did those like 5 impressions back in like I think February or March. But this time it's going to be styled after like the Beavis and Butthead reacting to music videos kind of format. So that's what I have in mind for that. Shanique asks, what's your favorite color? Burgundy for clothes, pink for everything else. Stray Ash asks, who is your favorite listener character? My favorite listener character is Slash. And Stray Ash also asks, who are your top 3 side characters slash supporting characters? That would be Bada Bing, Bada Boom, and Acid Rain. Queen Elizabeth asks, would you ever do an audio based in England and do British accents? I would love to hear you do a British accent after hearing John singing in British. Um, I don't have any plans to have anything in England right now. I have done a British accent before, just not on my own channel. I've done a British accent on Riley Weeks' channel in a collab and in another collab with AJ Audio. So you can look for my collabs on there and you'll see my British accent. Anonymous asks, how would Crow react to the listener taking the name Raven? He would be honored. Dinero asks, are any of your audio series connected? Yes. A lot of them are. Not all of them, though. But the clues are all there. You'll have to find them. But, like, there's a straight line of connection between the Neon Barbarian and Against the World. And that all starts with one of my very first one-shot audios called Final Broadcast. I'm not going to, like, make the whole web of connections. You'll have to find them yourself. But they are in there. Savannah asks, do you come up with and write your audios all by yourself? Yes, I do. I see myself primarily as a writer. I know you guys know me as a voice actor, but I don't think I'm that good of a voice actor. I think my real talent lies in writing and storytelling. So yeah, everything I make is 100% original. Captain C Cookie Monster asks, when coming up with characters, do you have any face claims? No, I don't do face claims. The closest thing to that I'll do is, like, if I'm giving an artist instructions on how to draw a character, I might pick, like, a real life person and, like, take, like, a feature off of them and say, like, they have this feature. Like, Jean's eyebrows are based off of Adrian Brody's, but, like, besides, like, individual features for art references, no, I don't have any face claims. Sadie asks, what series was your least favorite? Oh my god, no, I'm not going to be mean to my own series, but I do have an answer. My least favorite series is Slash and the Basher / Rival Slasher Villains. Not because it's bad, I did, not because I didn't enjoy making it, I really enjoyed making it, but when I made the first episode, it was never intended to be a series. So episodes 2 and 3... I think they just have such a different vibe from episode 1 when I wasn't planning on there being any continuity, and I feel like that kind of reflects in the final product. So Slash and the Basher, tons of fun. I do love that series, but it is my least favorite series. Des asks, when are you bringing back Cronus 7? As of right now, never. I might do, like, little one shots with, like, the past version of Benji just kind of living his life, but I'm just haven't really been inspired by any of the ideas I've had so far. So for now, I'm gonna say Cronus 7 is, there's no continuation planned for that at the time. Ziloxo asks, do you have any advice for future voice actors? My advice is, do your own thing. Do your own thing. Be yourself. Don't look at other voice actors and think, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do, or oh, this is what gets views, or oh, if I don't do this, I'm not going to get any views or subscribers. Do your own thing. Only work on projects that you are fully passionate about, okay? Like, don't work on something because you saw, like, a list of like, check marks that you thought would get views, or just because, like, you feel the need to push out a certain amount of content per month. Just find something that you are, like, actually fully passionate about, or write something for yourself that you're, like, actually fully passionate about, and do it your way. Do it your way. I know saying, like, be yourself is such generic advice, but there's so many people out there trying so hard to follow trends and be like everyone else and use the same aesthetic as everyone else that it's like, that's like a big regret of a lot of people. When they first get started, they do try and, like, imitate, like, that whole, like, anime boy aesthetic with, like, the quotes and the, headlines or the titles that are just, like, a whole bunch of tropes smashed together. And then later on, as they adapt, they're like, oh my god, I should have started doing my own thing right away. So be original, be yourself, do it your way from the very beginning. That's my advice. Let's see. A Tired Artist asks, favorite types of characters to record, or favorite bloopers? I don't have any bloopers. I delete all of my mistakes right away just by instinct, so I don't really have any favorite bloopers. But as far as the favorite types of characters to record, I love the psychotic ones. I love the crazy, irredeemable, out of control, unhinged characters. Those are my favorites. Natty asks, So your scripts are so amazing. How do you think of the Easter eggs in the episode that will foreshadow events? Like, do you go back and add them, or do you think of them from the beginning? Sometimes I do go back and add them, but 90% of the time, either I have the foreshadowing thought out from the beginning, or I will kind of like go back and look at my scripts and then, look at certain details and think, oh, this could be foreshadowing, this could be foreshadowing, and I'll build it from there. Like, I don't usually go backwards. Sleepy asks, are there any languages you speak besides English and Spanish? And yes, right now I'm learning to speak German. For der Wolfsjäger, for der Wolfsjäger, der Wolfsjäger. I'm learning to speak German for der Wolfsjäger. I've been practicing a lot. I've been like doing Duolingo lessons, and I've been doing a bunch of like live like accent coaching and like language classes, like over Discord and stuff, and just having friends help me out. So I have been learning German. I am far from fluent, but I'm on my way. Let's see. Next question. Nuke Bomb asks, would you consider holding auditions for small roles in your audios for amateur VAs? Yes, I actually do that all the time. I do most of my public casting through my Twitter, so follow me on Twitter. I'm casting all the time. All of my audios are collaborative, and most of my audios have like 4 to 6 other voice actors besides myself. So there's tons of roles to go around. Follow my Twitter and just wait for my casting calls. Let's see. Kath asks, have you ever thought of making a series that is not connected with sci-fi or fantasies, etc., like school concepts or realistic concepts? Um, hmm. I would never do anything set in a school. I'm sorry. Schools are out of the question. I hate school stories. I am too goddamn old to be playing a high school character. I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, I would possibly make a series that is like more mundane and doesn't have any like superhero or sci-fi or fantasy or magic elements to it. But it would still have to be like adventurous. I would still want there to be an adventure to be told, an epic to be told. But as far as like straight up slice of life stuff goes, like I leave that to other VAs. I leave that to like the boyfriend experience, type of voice actors, just because like they don't excite me. And I have written those kinds of scripts before. I've written tons of those kinds of scripts. I've written like at least like 7 one-shot like slice of life type situations, and I've thrown every single one out the window. I just don't want to make them. It's not my thing. I like adventure. I like drama. I like big conflicts. So yeah, I'm gonna stay away from those kinds of audios. I'm sorry. I'm not saying they're totally out of the question. You might see some of them someday. Maybe not as like full series, but as like kind of like one shot little things. But I don't have any plans for that right now. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. Let's see. Kanak or Kanak asks, does your family and friends know about you being a VA? Yes, they do. My dad knew from the very beginning, from Against the World. Like I showed him Against the World when I was making it. My friends knew like before that, while I was like in the process of making it. In fact, like my roommate's boyfriend was one of the voice actors in it for the scene where there's like a police radio. He had like a little cameo. So yeah, like everybody knows about it. It's not something I have to hide. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not like one of those people that's like, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm a cringe boyfriend ASM artist. Please don't judge me. Like I don't give a fuck. I'm like, you look at how much effort I put into my work. Like I obviously take pride in it, so I'm not gonna treat it like a dirty little secret. And I don't make NSFW audio, so in terms of that kind of privacy concern, I'm not really like worried about hiding it. So yeah, they know. Let's see. Milo asks, what's your favorite movie/show? My favorite movie is Pan's Labyrinth, and my favorite show is Breaking Bad. And one last question. Boyd asks, what is an audio story that you really want to do, but just haven't found the time to do yet? Oh, so many. Are you kidding me? I have so many ideas. I can't even count them. I can't even bring up how many ideas I've like either delayed for a long ass time or left on the cutting room floor. Like, holy shit. I think I have a list of them on my Twitter. I'm going to pause recording so I can just read them all out to you. Okay. I I got the list. I'm gonna read every concept that I've either had to scrap or push back. Let's see. Number one, Tusk and Chain. Third person audio drama set in a fantasy version of 1995 where an aging orcish football player tries to reconnect with his estranged teen daughter after suffering a career threatening injury. Scrapped idea number two, Untitled Cyberpunk Project. A computer hacker is hired by a stranger to find a way to fabricate an identity to cross the border into a haven country where mind controlling technology has not yet taken hold. Things go wrong, and also there are cyberpunk goblins. Scrapped idea number three, My True Love is Dead. A man lost in grief after the death of his fiancée resurrects her with occult necromancy. In return, he now owes a favor to Death, who gives him 44 days to bring back a rogue servant of Death who broke rank. Set in the Slash and the Basher universe. Scrapped concept number four, Knight in Chains. Set in a fantasy 1950, a warrior from an elite and esteemed but brainwashed and enslaved order known as the Janitari, inspired by the Janissaries, is chosen as the guard of a noblewoman who suspects an assassination conspiracy against her by a longtime rival with a bigger secret plan. Let's see. Scrapped concept number five. A Neon Barbarian sequel where Crow is in hell and his punishment is to live with Louis, with their lives being televised to demons as the most popular reality show in hell. I will never make that. If I do, it will have nothing to do with the Neon Barbarian. Um, oh my god, let's see. And I think I have some more. There's some more that I forgot about that I just didn't write down in that list on my Twitter, but like I definitely have more ideas. I have too many damn ideas. This is why I never accept like script offers or like ideas from listeners or other VAs because I have so much in the back, and like some of those scripts or slash ideas might actually see the light of day someday. Like I really want to make My True Love is Dead. I still kind of want to make Tuscan Chain, but I'm kind of iffy about it. Um, but like, oh my god, yeah, no, I don't have time to make all of these. I wish I did. I wish this was my full-time job and I had a professional editor and I could pay my voice actors and we could like have set schedules for times and I could just do it as like just like a full-time professional operation, but I have a job. I have a job and a life and I don't want to like, become a full-time content creator. That sounds really scary because you could lose everything overnight if the algorithm changes its mind. So yeah, I do believe I think that's the last of my questions. If I didn't get to your questions, it's probably because somebody else asked the same question in last year's AMA. So definitely go back and check that one. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you everybody for 2 years. I remember all of the people who've been here from the beginning. I'm excited to see all of the newcomers. If you haven't listened to all of my complete series, you have to listen to them all because they are all bangers. I make nothing but bangers. I'm gonna keep making bangers. Next year I'll be back for year 3 and we're gonna have so much more to talk about. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much. I know this is just like YouTube and it's like not, it shouldn't be like that big of a deal, but you guys are such a big part of my life and I'm so happy that I finally have a place to share my creativity with others. So I'm so grateful for all of you for being here. Thank you so much, and I will see you when I make my next audio. Bye.